I invited my mom over for breakfast, and coffee is a must. So, first things first. My husband bought the ladybug for us to clean up the grounds, and it has been very convenient. I am making Ezekiel muffins, and the idea comes from Ezekiel 4:9 in the Bible, where the prophet is instructed to take wheat, barley, beans, lentils, millet, and spelt, and make bread of them. So that is exactly what is in this flour. It is hard red wheat, barley, 3 different types of beans, lentils, millet, and spelt. And instead of making bread, I'm making blueberry muffins. By the way, you can find this recipe for the Ezekiel flour on my website, which is intyrehealing.com. And if you like the mill that I am using or the food processor, I will leave the link in the description below. The Magimix food processor is a powerhouse, and I just learned recently that you can use it to make muffins. I'm using the plastic dough blade for the muffins. This recipe calls for 2 mashed bananas, and I just decided to use the food processor to blend them. It worked out really well. Now I will add all the dry ingredients, and we first start with 2 1/4 cups of flour. Next I am adding 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. You can adjust the spice measurements to your liking. Now it's time to blend the dry before we start adding in the wet. To be quite honest, I probably could have just added in the bananas right now and it would have been fine. But go ahead and add in the bananas. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and sometimes I add more because I just love it so much. And this isn't in the recipe on the website, but I added a dash of almond extract because I love the taste of the almond. 1 egg, a 1/2 cup of olive oil, 1 cup of buttermilk, and a 1/3 cup of honey. And then I let it go. I did have to scrape the sides down 1 time just to get the flour that wanted to kind of cling to the side. Let it go 1 more time and done. I added a 1/3 cup of walnuts, and I did start the food processor just to kind of help chop them up a little bit. I added a 1/3 cup of blueberries, and this did make 12 muffins. Fill my muffin cups about 2/3 full. Place in a preheated oven at 350 degrees, and it took them about 16 minutes to bake. Look how beautiful they are. They turned out magnificent. Here's a great thing for you to do with the muffins that you want to save for later. Flash freeze. I don't know why this makes such a difference, but it does. When you take the muffins, put them in the freezer for at least an hour, and then throw them in a Ziploc bag, put them back in the freezer. When you take that out and heat it up, it's as if it just came out of the oven. Enjoy!